This week I hope to preach, God willing, from Philippians chapter 3, Paul's words about pressing on toward the goal. While that might seem like instructions to front row in a football team, the Apostle Paul is describing his attitude even while he's locked up in prison. And part of my preparation for this weekend, my thoughts turned to Psalm 84. Here are a few words from it. How lovely are your dwelling places, and I long to enter the courts of the Lord. A single day in your court is better than 1,000 elsewhere. What joy there is for those who trust you. And here is the psalmist expressing his desire for more and more and more of God. I mean, how do you press on toward the goal when you're locked up in prison as Paul was? Many years ago I read a little poem which has always stuck with me, and it was called $3 Worth of God. And I can't remember the lines of the poem, but it's a prayer asking for just a little bit of God. Not enough to disturb them, just enough for some comfort. No shout of surrender, no mountaintop of deliverance, no mighty victory, just $3 worth of God. I wonder if you know of a missionary called Amy Carmichael and of her writing. She wrote a poem about carrying a scar for the Lord. She said, "What? Hast thou no scar? Can he who hast no scar have travelled far?" Amy was sent as a missionary to Japan, but only there for 1 year before her very poor health meant she had to return home. And then a year later, she went out to India, where she stayed for 56 years until she died there, aged 84. She was passionate about rescuing children, little children who were temple prostitutes, and she rescued boys and girls from these temples, and established a work which she called the Dohnavur Fellowship for them. At the age of 64, she fell in a freak accident, and she never fully recovered despite really good medical care, and her world became a room and a bed. For 20 years, she never left that room. But there in that bed, she wrote letters to the children in the Dohnavur Fellowship. And one of her books is called Candle in the Dark, and it's a collection of the letters she wrote to the children she rescued. And one of those letters says this in it: "You will never regret having thrown all to the winds in order to follow your Master and Lord. Nothing will seem too much to have done or suffered when, in the end, we see him and the marks of his wounds. Nothing will ever seem enough." Paul's words are, of course, God's words. He said, "I focus on this one thing, forgetting the past and looking forward to what lies ahead. I press on to reach the goal, the end of the race, and receive the heavenly prize." Those words are inspirational. I encourage you to keep pressing on for all of God. God bless you.